Thanks for tuning in. You're watching Justice 45 KUVI, and I'm Vanessa Rodriguez. I'd like to introduce our guests this morning, and it's Lisa Green and Kristen Barnard from the District Attorney's Office.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Good.
Doing
Thanks
well,
for having us.
Good. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a lot of your cases are sexual assault and homicides. What correlation does that have with domestic violence?
I think that there's a lot of cases where you see domestic violence and the violence escalates and unfortunately ends up with a homicide. And we see that all too often because there's a cycle of violence and women tend to go back to their husbands or their boyfriends. There's a lot of dynamics in play. A lot of it has to do with money, children, those types of things. And they don't know, what's available to them, what resources are out there. And as I said, it ends in violence, and sometimes there are homicides. And we actually have 9 domestic violence homicides pending in Kern County now involving some husbands are charged, some the wives are charged.
Wow.
But as far as the sexual assault, that's not necessary. It doesn't necessarily occur in every case, but it does happen, and it's a way of controlling the victim. And just yesterday, we had a Kern County jury return guilty verdicts on a domestic violence case where the perpetrator sexually assaulted his girlfriend while she was unconscious, and he was convicted of that. So I would say they're more rare, but it does happen, and it's obviously a terrible consequence of violence in these relationships.
Why do you feel domestic violence is so prevalent today?
I thought a lot about that question. It's a really good question, Vanessa, and I don't necessarily know that it's more prevalent today than it was, let's say, 50 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think domestic violence has been a problem for years and years. But I think what is different today is that more women are coming forward, willing to report it. There's more knowledge in the community, more information out there as to resources that are available. There could be more information, obviously, but I think it's just there's a lot of information.
So the more awareness probably is what's kind of making people respond a lot better to.
Do you agree with that, Kristen?
Yeah, I think that just the issue is more highlighted significantly in the news, and we've had athletes
That's right. Yeah.
involved in domestic violence cases, and I think that kind of puts a spotlight on the issue as well.
Okay, yeah, I agree. That's true. I mean, a lot of that's happening right now. What is, for somebody that's going through domestic violence currently, what kind of local resources do they have available to them?
Well, there are a lot of resources, and I'm not sure that women are aware of them, but they have resources available through, well, first and foremost, the law enforcement agency. Right. But they have counseling available through the Alliance Against Family Violence and Sexual Assault. GBLA, the Greater Bakersfield Legal Assistance, can help them with restraining orders. The Department of Human Services can help them with cash aid and those types of things. My office has victim advocates available to help them with restraining orders or to help them navigate the court process. So there's a number of agencies available, and even more than I've mentioned here.
Yeah. Could you guys tell us a little bit about what's going on with the Family Justice Center? So I know I looked into that, and it's a great program that you guys are putting together. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, and I think I'm going to let Kristen answer that question. She's the executive director and has really moved it forward over the last 18 months. So Kristen, I'll throw that one to you.
Thank you. Yeah, we're really excited about the Family Justice Center project. As Lisa was just saying, there are a lot of great services out there that do provide services to victims of domestic violence and sexual assault, but the idea behind a Family Justice Center is to create kind of a one-stop shop for victims of domestic violence, in that they can receive all of the services that they need in one place, in one building. And all of the great services that Lisa was just telling you about, currently they're not all housed in the same place. So imagine a victim of domestic violence having to go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different locations, and not only with herself, but if she may have small children, it makes things very difficult for victims in crisis to have to go to all of these different locations to get services. So the idea behind a Family Justice Center project is to combine them all in the same building so that victims can more easily access these services.
That's great because, you know, like you said, sometimes they're not able to, you know, they have their kids and they're going from place to place, so some of the stuff doesn't get done, and what happens is probably the domestic violence keeps happening. So, I mean, that's super cool that you guys are actually, when is this going to open? Do we have a date?
This has been kind of a work in progress for a long time, as Lisa has said previously. So we're aiming towards the end of the year in the next few months to open our doors and start serving victims.
Sounds good. Well, thank you guys for being here today. I really appreciate this time, and I'm really excited to see the Justice Center move and grow, and I look forward to hopefully being part of that and whatever I can do to help or share with the community. But thank you guys for being here today.
Thank you, Vanessa. We're excited too.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. And you're watching Justice 45 KUVI. Until then, be aware and be safe.